This video will describe formatting of text with Google Docs. The first thing I'm going to start with is titles and subtitles and text management for your whole document. I have set aside these labels to say when I have things of these types, I'm going to get them perfect and then apply whatever formatting there to everything else in the document. So every time I use a title, I can use this area which is called Styles, and I can choose Title right there. Now, do I like their title? No, I want to make some changes to it. Let's change the font to Merriweather. Let's change the size to 24, and let's make it bold, and let's go ahead and make it a dark blue, and that looks good. This version of title I want to use repeatedly throughout my document, so I'm going to come back to my styles and I'm going to press on this arrow here and update title to match. So whenever I use the title style, it will have these qualities. Let's do the same thing with subtitle next. I'm going to highlight the text. I'm going to choose subtitle. This is their version. I don't like their version. Merriweather. Let's go italic and let's make that size 14. That looks fine. Now I'm going to come back to subtitle and I'm going to update subtitle to match. Regular text. Not too much to change here. I'm going to choose normal text. I'm going to choose Merriweather, size 12, and I don't think I'm going to change anything else. That looks good the way it is. I'm going to come back and update normal text. Now, why did I do this? So that everywhere in the document we have the same text style. You may have noticed that this text down here updated to reflect the changes I made to normal text here. Let's go ahead and see if the same thing can happen with titles. I've made a section 1 title and a section 2 title. Let's go ahead and highlight them and change them to the new title. What's the benefit of doing this? It means that wherever I use a title, they will all be formatted exactly the same without having to reorganize it each time. Let's do the same thing with my subtitles. All I'm doing is choosing the subtitle each time, and you'll notice that in the style area, my choices previously are reflective here. You can also do the same thing with these areas or make your own using options. So that's how to handle titles. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other choices. I'm going to highlight text that I already have, and these should be familiar. We can align left, center, right, or justified. Justified means that it'll align text on both edges and add spaces as needed in between. I generally don't find that to be standard. I usually use left align. For my title, maybe I'll center it. Oh, I like that. I want that to apply to all my titles. Update title to match. Check it out. Section 2 title and the title at the top all change to reflect my decision. Let's do the same thing with subtitle. Hey, I want you to be centered. I choose it. Then I'm going to come back to subtitle and update subtitle to match. That works great. Alright, let's say that I've got an indent and I want to change how it fits. I can increase an indent and decrease an indent here. That might not be so useful in this setting, but if I wanted to make a list, for example, numbered 1, 2, 3, or a different style, ABC, I'll stick with 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make a list. I'm going to call it number 1, second, third, and I may decide, second is going to have two subparts, subpart 1 and subpart 2. This list looks good except for the fact that subpart 1 and subpart 2 should be indented from second. That's the place where I can use the indent to help. Because it's part of a list that has certain qualities, those qualities change to reflect how deeply it moves. Alright, Other things you should be very familiar with. You can choose to bold or italicize something or undo it. These are toggles. I can underline or not. I can choose a font color as I wish. I can also highlight something and give it a certain quality of a different text face, impact, if I want to bring attention to that one. I can also, if I want to bring even more attention to it, I can, instead of just text coloring, I can also highlight color. Let's really bring attention to this. Although I brought attention to it, it's not very readable. I think I'm regretting my decision to change the font. Let's change it to something a little bit lighter. And now you can read it a little better. That's your formatting setup. If I have a format of one area and I want to apply it to another area, you can use this tool. It's called the Paint Format. What you do is you highlight the area that has the type of format that you want, and then you can use the Paint Format tool to paint that format elsewhere. It doesn't change the text where you're going, but it changes the style to match the format only. So again, the text has not changed, but the format now matches this. I can also change it back with undo, or I could highlight another area, use the Paint Format brush, and then apply that to the same area, and then you can return it to whatever formatting you prefer. The last items that I'd like to show to you are that you don't have to live with your formatting choices that you've chosen. You can highlight an area and say, you know what, I want to dump formatting completely and go back to normal. That's what this tool does, clear formatting.